How is everybody? I'm thankful that you're here. I know this time of year is it's a difficult time of year for everyone, for not only the organizationally challenged, but also for the organizationally gifted. This time of year is a tough one. Anybody that's new here that has never been on a webinar with me, on the facing right side of your screen is a panel that if you want to get my attention, you could click on a hand and that'll raise your hand. Now, this is practical help from me, the Tidy Tutor, Kathy Roberts, and I welcome you here to our, transitioning into fall, I suppose, webinar. Now, we're going to do this in parts, okay? This is part one. It's a time of year that we often do freak out. We can really let things get away from us. The organizationally gifted find it difficult this time of year. And now, it's not this time of year like September, and not even really October. But if you don't plan ahead, November, December, and January are just really difficult months. Planning ahead makes it fun. Not planning ahead makes it drudgery. And we want it to be nice because it's a time of year that's supposed to be joyful. So October, November, December, and January. It's not so much October, but October really does begin the frantic because I know it depends on what kind place in the world that you're in, but a lot of times the weather changes drastically. And we have to get our winter coats out, or at least our hoodies and our jeans and things that we've maybe put away because the summer was here. Now, if you haven't even done that, then you're even in more of a mess with all of your things from the fall and winter still there with your summer. So we don't want that to happen next year. And this year, we want to set ourselves up for next year, which is what we're going to do. Now, this is just an image just to show that it really does drastically change quickly. And that's why October begins kind of like the frantic. It's not exactly frantic in October. What it more like is uncomfortable and not real happy. It starts to not real happy because we all want a really tidy room. We all want to wake up and be able to open up a drawer and get a pair of socks and get our jeans, get our underwear, and nicely, easily put our things on. If you have children, you want your mornings to be easy, not frantic, not, where's a towel? I can't find my socks. Go downstairs. They're probably in the dryer. All of that just builds up to the rest of your day going bad. And if the rest of your day goes bad and that goes on and on and on, then, your months go bad. If your months go bad, your life goes bad. Doing this organizing thing, like what we do, it isn't really about getting the house clean when it's the bottom line. It's really about living a fulfilled life. Because you can't live a fulfilled life if you're constantly behind the eight ball, if you're always a dollar short and a day late, and if you're always, wishing that tomorrow will be different. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a head start, okay? We're going to get a head start on the upcoming months. Now, many organizationally gifted people have already begun. As soon as kind of like September 1st comes around, even though depending on what kind of place in the world you're in, like maybe, I'm in the United States. So maybe if you're in, North Carolina, you're not even thinking about this yet because it's still real warm there. But here in New Jersey, it's starting to get cool, but it's not cold yet. So I'm not going to get rid of all of my stuff that I have out for this time of year. But it definitely is something that I have to think about because when you get cool and you want a hoodie, you don't want to go into a dark attic or into wherever it is that you stored your things in a box in the back of a closet or something and start pulling things out. So we want to work on this and we want to start now. So we're going to set ourselves up for next summer and we're going to get the house ready for the upcoming season. Now, the reason we're going to set ourselves up for next summer is because we have just gone through a summer, right? So right now, everything that you used is out. And I'll tell you something. If you go, when we're going to, talk about going into our storage area to put away our summer things. And when you go there, whatever you have in that area there for your summer that you haven't used this summer, get rid of it. Okay. We're going to talk about how our number one obstacle is too much stuff and you cannot organize clutter. And, I have never realized this as much as I have now since I have, begun to embrace a minimalist mindset. I really sincerely believed I always was a minimalist. I'm telling you what, I was not. You don't have to be a minimalist to be organized, by no means. My sister Maria is not a minimalist. She has one buffet thing in her dining room with a few doilies on it, a long runner doily thing. She has antique cake plates that are on stems and all these antique teacups and antique teapots and all of that. And I mean, let me tell you something, that is not a minimalist lifestyle, but her house is orderly. She's not excessive. So I'm not saying that you have to be a minimalist, by no means. I'm just saying that because I began to embrace a minimalist attitude, I began to see that I really did have too much stuff. And now that my sister and I have been talking about this, she's actually seeing that she does too. Even though many of us are going to stay put, and that was her attitude and it was mine. Because we're going to stay put. This is my home. I've been here for 25,000 years. My family grew up here. I'm not leaving. Then somehow we feel like we can hold on to more things because we're not going anywhere. Why should I get rid of this? Well, you know what? Now that I've, kind of run, this race as far as I have been, I realize that there is a really good reason to get rid of the things that you might say, well, why should I get rid of these 500 greeting cards that are in this drawer? They're fine, because we never know what life is going to throw us. And you never want to be in a position where you can't take an opportunity if it comes across your path, or God forbid something happens. And now there's all of these things that somebody has to deal with, or even just really stepping back and realizing that I don't need all these things. And now that I want to make some sort of a move, like let's say in my sister's case, her and her husband are thinking about retiring and, downsizing. That's going to be a tremendous feat. And the thing that she was talking to me about was all of these things, like most of them don't matter. And I don't mean like her teacup collection and, that kind of thing. These are things that she loves. They're not going anywhere. I'm talking about, the little crafty items that she has in the basement, all these little plastic drawer things with all these crafty items in there that when she used to teach children's church, I think she still does. But, there's a lot of stuff that she has that now when she's looking at it, she's saying, life could have been a lot easier with less of this stuff. And she realizes that she has spent quite a bit of time taking care of things and places in her house that she really didn't have to spend that time on, because, living life is spending time. So there's that. Now, the reason I have the apple boxes there is because this is what we use to store things. Now, if you are a person that, you live in really high humidity or something and you have to have bins, I'm not saying get rid of your bins. I'm just saying that if you're using boxes, these are the best boxes to use. They're not the kind that fold into each other. You know how the lids on others, you fold one flap down, fold another flap down, fold another flap down, then stick it under. Like that, those boxes don't last. I have some boxes for, oh my goodness, Emily's 20. I have some for as long as she's been alive. And because, clothes have been moved out and in and out and in. No reason to get rid of them. They still work. So they're great to have. You can go into a produce store or the produce section of your department store and tell them that you want them. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit, so I won't take my time now. What I want you to do with your summer things, and we're not talking about summer clothes right now, we're talking about summer things, is go around the outside of your house and the inside of your house. Now, on the outside of your house, the things that you have on the outside of your house that's summer, gather them up and put them in an area where you're going to store them so that you'll do it. And then actually store them. We'll talk about storing in a little bit, but if you had these things, you had them somewhere. Now, if it's a big cluttered mess, it's going to be difficult to store them properly, but I want you to try, all right? I want you to try to, if you can fit anything you could fit in the apple boxes, fit them in the apple boxes. And then what you want to do is, because there's 4 seasons, you want to take everything that you're bringing into storage from the outside of the house, wherever you're going to keep it, in a shed outside, in a garage or something, and I want you to put it to the back. Because 3 other seasons are going to come. And when you do next season and next season and next season, when you take those out, that'll go right in front of, right behind summer. And the next one will go right behind the next one. Do you see what I mean? So that when you need the next season's things, they'll be to the front of the area that you're storing. See what I mean? Now, another thing that I want you to do is do the same thing in the house. Go around the house and gather up all of the summer things that you have. Now, maybe you're still going to be wearing flip-flops, but maybe you don't need as many, right? You won't need as many. So, maybe just keep 1 pair of flip-flops out. Anything that you have in the house is decoration. Get rid of. Don't get rid of. Put in a pile somewhere. You have beach chairs. If you have, now normally they'll probably be outside, and maybe they might be in your storage area, but maybe they're in your trunk, right? You might have a beach umbrella, and I do that. I keep my beach umbrella and my beach chair in my trunk so that it's always ready for me if I want to go down the shore or something like that. So, make sure you take care of that too. Go into your car and see, what do I have in here, that is, summer related. Anything in the house that you have. I'm not talking about clothes yet, all right? Any kind of beach toys or anything that's summer in the home, take it, put it all together, and then we're going to get it in storage. And you're going to do the same thing with those things, like I said, with the stuff that's in the outside of the house. You're going to make sure that you put what you have to the back, because, like I said, it'll be moving forward as you go. Now, something that I mentioned before that I want to make sure I mention again, when you go in that area that you're storing your things in, and there's 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 3 things in there that you did not take out this year, get rid of them. Our number 1 obstacle is too much stuff. If you didn't use it this year, you didn't miss it, okay? I know that if you're here, you have too much stuff. I know that. So don't say to me, well, you know what, it isn't that much. No, yeah, you know that it is. Maybe it isn't in itself, but combined with everything else, 3 things here, 5 things here, 10 things here. And and I know that it isn't 3 things, 5 things. It's not. It's a lot of things. So when you get to that area that you're going to store your things, and you see things there that you didn't take out this year, get rid of them. You'll be happier. Okay? All right. Now, this is something I really am dead serious about. All right? Think of somebody's house that you admire so much. It's always so together, and they have it done so well. Everything about it, the crown molding, the tiles, everything is well. Maybe they have a landscaper come. Maybe they have a cleaning person come twice a week or once a week, and everything is just lovely and placed beautifully. I want you to go there, okay? Go there and just say, I'd like to come by for a visit. Do you mind? Or even if you know them really well, say, can I just come by and walk around for a little bit? I just want to walk around for a little bit. I need some motivation. Because I'll tell you what, this job is not the most fun job in the world. It's really not. And our nature is, if it's not fun, we don't want to do it. So we want to make it fun. And I'm telling you something, when you walk through somebody's house that just makes you feel like lovely, like, oh, I love this. I could have this. When you go home, you're going to be so motivated to get this done and to do stuff. I think that we should do this periodically anyway, but in this one particular time, I think it's real important, because there is nothing fun at all about switching clothes and that kind of thing. Another thing about that is that we know in the back of our mind, we don't really have to do it, right? it can happen we can get our winter clothes without getting rid of our summer clothes. We can get our winter coat without getting rid of our bikini, right? We can get rid of our, we can bring in our jeans and our hoodie without getting rid of our tank tops and our shorts. We know that. So we need this motivation, and that's another reason why it's not fun, because it seems kind of unnecessary. But you and I both know it is so necessary. It feels lousy to wake up in a room with more clothes than fit in it. It feels lousy to have to dig through stuff to find something that you want, which you know is going to happen. Not only that, but things are going to begin to spill. It's going to spill out your drawers, out your closets, and out of your room, right? That's what's going to happen. So that's what you want to do, all right? I want you to see how it really is great motivation, and it will get you to do what you want to do. Walk through the house that you want to walk through just before you're ready to work, all right? Because the next day it's going to wear off. It's not going to feel as motivating as it was before, right? We tend to tell ourselves stories, right? And we live in denial a lot of times. So we want to be in the moment with that. Now, here are things that we're going to need. We're going to need a pen or a Sharpie. Some masking tape. Now, not all of that masking tape. We need a small roll of masking tape, okay? Some garbage bags. Now, you can have big black garbage bags. If you know you have a lot of stuff that's going to go out to the curb, then definitely get some big black garbage bags. But if you know you're going to have stuff to bring to Goodwill, then get the smaller bags because they fit better, right? And they're more easily for you to, if you bring them to like Goodwill or Angel's Attic or any kind of, Angel's Attic is what we have close by, any kind of thrift store that, benefits neighborhoods and sells it for whatever reason, that kind of thing. Then, or even if you bring things to consignment shops and you make money on them, then you want to do it in these bags because it's a big pain in the neck in the other bags. And also you want to make sure that you get them out to the car, right? Get them out to the car and get them there then. Make an appointment. Make it important, okay? Because if you leave it in that car, you know what's going to happen. Little Julie is going to step on it and the bag is going to break. And then there's clothes going to be all over the place. And either they're going to end up in the garbage or you're just going to feel horrible about your car. And who knows really, then you'll end up just pulling up to some bin and throwing them in there. And you know that wasn't your intention to begin with. So just do it right the first time, set yourself up for success. Another thing you're going to need are apple boxes, okay? Now, remember what I said. If you live in an area that is really moist and you have to have bins, then have bins. I'm not telling you not to use specific containers that you love and use, but if you're going to use boxes, these are the boxes to use. All right. Now, if your stuff isn't in storage boxes, right? If it's not in storage boxes, like, you want to go and get some of your winter things from last year, but last year what you did was you just grabbed stuff and brought it wherever it is that you keep it. Like say you have an attic, or say you have a closet that's an empty closet, or you have a spare room or something that you just use as a dumping ground. And all you did was like grab, maybe you have some things in boxes, some things in bags, and some things just thrown, right? If that's the case, then you have to get some, all right? You have to go get some boxes, all right? If they are in boxes, then I want you to bring them down to where you keep your clothes, okay? All right. And you're going to have to bring these down to where you keep your clothes. But please, make sure you get boxes, okay? You'll be unhappy if you don't. Okay. Oh, there, I had the picture of the boxes, and I didn't even realize it. See that? It would have been really effective, wouldn't it have been, if I would have clicked on time? All right. Now, our number one obstacle is too much stuff, remember, right? Our number one obstacle is too much stuff. So as you're doing this, you are really going to think, minimal, only what I need, only what fits. Now, all right, maybe only what I need isn't absolutely necessary. If you have a very large walk-in closet, or you have tons of cabinets, or you have plenty of room, and you have all things that you love, that fit in there. Now, let me tell you, love is the key word here. Not just, well, it's good. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. You don't want to live that way, all right? You don't want to live with stuff that you don't want. I did a video one time about, eventually somebody's going to have to get rid of your stuff. And when that time comes, you don't want them to come into the house and either pull up a dumpster or pull up a dump truck to the back of the house and just leave a dumpster there and just say, just get it all in there, because they won't know what the heck is up or down. Or you don't want them to go in and pick up something and say, oh, I'm gonna keep this. I want to remember Uncle Junie. I have an Uncle Junie. I'm really into the Junes today, aren't I? All right. I want to remember Uncle Junie, and I love this thing, and so I'm going to remember him with this, and this is what I'm going to keep from him. And it just happened that Uncle Junie hated that frickin' thing. The only reason he kept it was because it was good, right? So now you have somebody who loves you, who you loved, keeping a little trinket to remember you by, and it was something you couldn't stand. Don't keep what you don't like. If it's good and you don't like it, bless somebody else with it. I say it all the time, that if you keep your hands closed, you cannot get anything from God. You can't get anything from the universe because your hands are closed. You've got to let go to receive, okay? So if you don't love it, if it doesn't fit, you've got to get rid of it. And since we're going to be going through 4 seasons, right? What we want to do is start now, right? And this is a critical time to start to start in the fall, because it's kind of devastating, right? And then January comes, and what happens? You know what? Do you know I have more people join my course in January than any other time? And why? Because they were so frustrated. They can't believe what happened to them October, November, and December. That they're like, I'm not going to go through that again this next year. Not to say that the other months weren't horrible, but I'll tell you, that is a concentrated time of yucky if you don't have your stuff together, right? So there's that. All right. Now we're going to begin to remove all the things that are appropriate. And by that, I mean, like, you're going to want to keep t-shirts still in there. If you have sundresses that are, sleeves, like short sleeves or like a no sleeve that you could wear a sweater with or something like that, you'll want to keep those in there. You'll still wear them. Anything that you'll still wear, keep there. But you're not going to wear tank tops now. You're not going to wear shorts now, right? And of course, I know that there's different parts of the world, and I'm speaking globally here. So what you can do if you're in a part of the world that is always warm, or you're in a part of the world where it's not going to be cool yet, then take this time, because you know what? If we don't do this kind of thing 4 times a year, like everybody else who has their stuff together does, then we're going to find ourselves in the state that we're in now, right? So if you're in that part of the world, then use this time to do the same thing, only you're not doing it because you're getting rid of things because they're not appropriate for this time of year, but that you're purging. You're saying, all right, 4 times a year, if you live in a place that's kind of like beautiful all the time, or it's warm for most of the time and then only cool for a little while, use these 4 seasons that everybody else has. And I'd like to say, God bless you. I wish I lived where you did. Use the 4 seasons like everybody else has as a tickler to get this kind of stuff done. All right. So we're going to get rid of everything in our clothes area, everything that doesn't pertain to right now. All right. And you're also going to think about, what about the things that I didn't wear? So go through each and every hanger and each and every thing that's in a drawer that you have. And I want you to, take out the things that you didn't wear and, maybe put them on the bed or something, or even you could just do it one at a time and look at it, because what you're going to have with you is a storage box. All right. You're going to have one of the Apple boxes with you. Now, what I used to do was I used to take my fall winter clothes down from the attic, dump them out on the bed, and then use that box again for the clothes that I was putting in there. I have found that to be not very smart. If you don't have the room for two other boxes, then of course you have to do that. But I did have the room, and it was foolish, because what would happen is you know how like we always say that sometimes we like make more of a mess than we can clean up, and that's what could happen when we do that. If we dump everything out, because if we don't have the time to exactly finish right then we walk into our room with all the stuff on our bed, and it's never good. So if you can have two separate boxes that is just for this season, then I recommend that. All right. So your fall winter clothes are in a box in the room that with you, not out yet. And you have an empty box or two. And take out of the closet one thing at a time and ask yourself, did I wear this year? Did I love it? Do I love it? Am I going to wear it next year? And if your answer is no, it's time for it to go, right? If this is something that you have rotated into this closet season after season after season, and you haven't worn it, it's time to go. Now, if there's some things that you say, well, no, I didn't wear it this year, but I did put on 10 pounds and I always lose weight. I'm going to go back into this. Then what I suggest is to write on, what's it called? On a piece of masking tape. Now don't write it on the clothes, write it on the roll. All right. Write on a piece of masking tape, today's date. And then put it front and center on that outfit, all right? Because this way, when you go to, now if you're afraid that might hurt your shirt or something, or your pants, if you're afraid it might hurt it, then, put it on the inside. But the reason that I like to put it on the outside is because it's very noticeable. I can't miss it. So you can put it on the inside in the tag if you want to. And write today's date on it. And then when you look at it again, you're not going to wear it with that piece of tape on it, because when you wear something you have to wash it. So when you wash it, you have to take the tape off, and if you don't, the tape will come off when it's in the washer. So if that tape is still on there next year and you're getting rid of your clothes, it definitely goes. All right. So if there are some things that you're just on the fence about and you can't make a decision on, then do that. All right. Get a piece of masking tape, write today's date on it, put it on there, and then the next time you see it, if that date is still there, it means you haven't worn it that whole time, and it means you're not going to wear it. And I want you to really, really think about the blessing that you'll receive by giving, all right? So if you don't, another thing too, I've seen this quite a bit. There are so many people with hundreds of outdated clothing still hanging in like a hall closet, a side closet, a closet that they never use, in their closet that's just kind of like stuck in the sides that you can never really get to, right? If you don't wear things, get rid of them, okay? If they're outdated, they're probably vintage. See if you could, find a vintage place or something. Somebody will want it. Actually, vintage clothes goes for quite a bit on eBay. So, you may have treasures you don't know about. So if it's outdated too, right, get rid of it. You really deserve the best. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to have brand new things. I always talk about how if I love something, I keep it and I wear it year after year if I love it. Sometimes I'll rotate it. Sometimes I'll take a dress that I've worn, for many years, and I'll put it in the attic with my summer things that, I'll just leave it in the box in there. And I'll rotate it. I'll maybe leave it there a season or maybe two. And then I'll take it back out next season and it feels fresh to me. I keep things for a long time if I love them. I don't mean that you have to have everything new, but you really do deserve good things. You deserve good things. And if you have things with holes in them, or things that are worn, or things that, you really never wear but you can't get rid of, I want you to think that you're so important. And it is not a worthy thing for you to even think that it's okay to hold on to things just in case when they're not good, okay? You deserve good. It's better to have 10 good things than 100 pieces of crap, okay? So, I want you to start thinking you're important, okay? Now, where and how to store them. It all depends on, where you live, what you've got going on, what kind of place you have. You might have to be really inventive and, maybe put them under the bed, put them in the back of a closet on a high shelf or something like that. Under the bed is really not great feng shui, but, we do what we have to do. Just pray over it. And but there's something that if you're not in TTU, if you're not entitled to the university, then you're going to want to get a binder and get a divider for storage. And you're going to want to write down what's in the box and where you hit it. Okay, where it is. You don't want to go, going all over the place. When this time comes searching for something, you're going to want to know where it is. And you could do that in your book. And you want to write on the box, right? Make sure you write on the box. You could do it with either a Sharpie, or you could get maybe a 3x5 card and write on the 3x5 card. And what I do is I number them. So if it's summer, I'll say S1. And then if I have 2 boxes, S2. If I have 3 boxes, S3. And then in the binder, what I'll do is I'll write down S1 on a piece of loose leaf paper, and I'll write down what was in that box and where it is. Okay? It's pretty simple and it's pretty cool. And then do what it is that I said, which is, since the season is now, we have 3 other seasons coming, put it towards the back. And then as you're going through, like when the fall's over and you're getting into the winter and then spring, you'll just do the same thing. Okay? This is actually something that I found online, and I just thought it was so appropriate. So I can't give the credit to the website because there was no reference to it. But some website out there has this image, and it says little touches of fall, and I thought it was just perfect. We're going to go through our storage area, and get the things that we need, for our house during this time of year. And we're going to bring it into the area where we're going to keep them. Okay. So if you go into wherever you have your storage for your summer, for your winter and fall clothes, wherever you have your storage for anything that you do in the house, right? Anything that you have that's fallish, if you do that kind of thing, and bring it out. You want to be really selective. And by that, what I mean is that when you take things out, think, do I really want this, right? Start to get rid of what you've got right now, all right? Start to get rid of it now as you're putting it out. So when you get your clothes and you're taking them out of the boxes that they're in and you're putting them away, right? You want to only keep the things that you're going to love, all right? Don't keep the things that you don't love. When you come across something and you say, gee, I never even wore this last year, all right? Think it through. One of the things I want to say is that you have to have enough room for things, okay? Now, I know that people have a lot of clothes, and if you are serious about changing your life, like if you're here because you said, I don't want to live like this anymore, then you will continue to live like that if you don't change things, right? If you keep doing the same things, nothing's going to change. So you have to have less if you're in a store ever. If you go to the store, really think through before you buy something. And if you have only enough space for what you have now, you've got to realize that when you bring something in, something has to go out, or don't get it. All right? You can be your own boss. You can live your own life. You don't have to do what everybody else does. Now, here's some added help, all right, that we're going to have during this time. All right. These are 4 habits that we're going to begin to incorporate, or maybe it's 3 habits that we're going to incorporate, right? Because without these things, it's virtually impossible to keep order in the house. Now, this is only one step, right? This is only one step towards the next step, which we're dealing with in getting this time of year under control and, in hand. So we want to make sure that we always have the dishes done. Make a commitment that before bed, all of your dishes are done and in the drain or in the dishwasher going. And that every morning the dishes get put away. Now, if you don't live alone, there's no reason why this can't be delegated. If you have a child that can reach a cabinet, the child can put these dishes away. If you have more than one child, they could rotate. But I recommend that you rotate them weekly, not daily. So, you get it the first week, you get it the second week, you get it the third week, but, make sure it's 7 days. So there's that. And then there's laundry. Now, if you have children and they could reach the knob, teach them how to do laundry, right? It will make your life so easy. Sometimes I think we're martyrs, we have to do this. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, all right? Even if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, you still need to teach your children to do their own laundry because life is busy and there's no reason why you should have to do everything. And if you work outside the home, that's even more of a reason that you get your kids to do their own laundry. And, depending on your relationship with your husband or your wife and their, their role, how it is that you work your life, that maybe they need to do their own laundry too. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. The way I do the laundry is I do one load before bed, put it in the morning the second I wake up. Before I leave, if I leave that day or as soon as it's done, depends on what my schedule is, I take it out of the dryer and either I lay it flat or I fold it. Now, it's one of the good things about doing laundry when you have big piles of laundry, because if you're just getting started, you probably do. It's easy to purge that way. Before you wash one of those things, take a look at every single thing that you have. And before you wash it, ask yourself, do I love this? Do I need it? Does it fit me? Is it ripped? Is it stained? And with those questions, you'll have answers and you'll know what to do with that thing. So you'll really be able to purge as you go with this too. If you're going to have your kids do their laundry, which I really recommend, then have a hamper in their room. And also, give them their own towel so that they're in charge of their own towel too. They can have, 2 towels if you want them to. And if you have more than one child, another thing I recommend is having a color per child. Judy has red, Barry has blue, Mikey has green, and Katie has white. And they have a hook in their room. Or you can have hooks all in the bathroom and their towels on there. I really recommend a hook in their room because I wouldn't trust a kid not to grab somebody else's towel. They won't care that they're using a different color. So I would just put it in your room. But this way, if they can't, Joe, if they take somebody else's towel, you know it. They did. So it makes it easy. And then you do a little schedule for them. If you don't know how to, how to talk to your kids about stuff, I have on my website on the homepage, how to get your kids to clean their room, I think it's called, or something like that. You can click on that and there's a download where you can actually see a schedule of how you can set something up for your kids so that you're not barking at them and they know that they can do what they have to do. And that's all explained in that. Another thing is say no. And I'm telling you what, this time of year, say no cannot be more emphasized. All right. It can't. Because this time of year, there's a lot of demands on us. And if you're here, it means you want things to change. Well, if you want things to change, you've got to give them the time to do it. You've got to put the time in to make it change. So when people ask you to do things, when you get invitations for certain things, if anything isn't really very necessary, say no. I'm busy right now. I'm sorry, I have this project I'm working on at home. Or if it's things like, can you please drive, my grandmother to the hospital? No, I'm so sorry, I can't. We can't be like a bull at the end of a paddle. I'm not saying don't be kind and don't help people when they need it. But, give somebody else a chance right now to help, all right? You don't have to be the one to always do it. Right now, it's time to help you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Another thing to do right now is to have a family meeting and make sure you tell them you're going to serve brownies or something because this way they'll show up. And talk to them. Everybody wants to live in an ordered home. They all do. So, maybe you've tried this before and maybe they'll say, oh, yeah, right, Ma, right, Dad, we're going to really get this together. How many times have you said this? Who cares, right? They have to listen to you. You pay the bills. So expect them to maybe balk at it and say, I don't believe you. But you're going to stick to your guns. They're going to see it. And it will, I promise you, it will come around. But you've got to get them on board. It's very difficult for you to be doing everything and not have anybody even care. All right. Now, until you know what to do, you really can't get them to know what to do. But you can begin by telling them, I want you to do your own laundry. I'm going to show you how all of the clothes are going to be in your room. You can give them a laundry day if you want to, and then let them suffer the consequence. If they don't have their uniform ready for football practice or soccer practice or baseball practice or basketball practice or their gym class or dance class, anything that they do outside the house and they're responsible for it, either have them be late or miss it. I know that, if it's baseball, maybe they're not going to play the next game. And I know that you as a mother or as a father, you're going to be like, oh, I don't want them to not play the next game. If you don't suffer a consequence, if we didn't suffer consequences as drivers, the roads would be mayhem, right? The streets would be dirty. I don't know if it's in every part of the world, but we have street sweepers that come here. And if we don't move our car, we get a ticket. If I didn't get a ticket, I wouldn't move my car. Who the heck cares, right? I don't want a ticket, so I move the car. The street stays clean. They don't want to miss practice next time. They don't want to miss practice too, because if they miss practice, they miss the game. If it's a game and they don't have their uniform clean, either go in a freaking dirty uniform. You might feel like, oh, I can't do that. What'll people think of me? Who cares what people think of you? You're raising a child that can be responsible and that isn't going to suffer, because these consequences, as you know, follow you for the rest of your life. So let them suffer the consequence of not doing, if they don't do it for them. Okay, so there's that. Here's another things that I could help you with at this point in time that will kind of give you a head start, is that to identify the snags in your day. What are some of the things that is always making you scream in the morning? Like, are you always losing your headphones that you need, because you're going out to work and you need them for work? Or are you always losing your glasses? Do you always have to search for an umbrella? When the kids need a paper for school, are you always frantic about it? Do you always lose your keys? Think about the things that really put you back every day. And then just ask yourself, how can I make it that this doesn't happen anymore? One of the things would be just simply getting a hook for the side of your door that you enter most often, and promise yourself that you will always hang your key there. If you're constantly searching for your shoes, that's a big snag in your day, get a place for those shoes, even if it's a big basket that's in the hallway, right? It doesn't have to suit everybody else's criteria for neat and tidy. It just has to fit yours. Hooks for towels so that they're not always wet and yucky on the floor. Hooks for book bags and things so the kids never have to search for their things. Where are they? They're there. Maybe like a accordion file so that you can have each kid's thing in there, or just folders. And so when a child comes home with something that you need to sign, you need to look at, it goes in there. So there's never searching for it. Maybe you didn't sign it yet, but you don't have to search for it. If you homeschool, a great idea to do is to get a basket with the homeschool things in there. And if you have way too many homeschool things, really rethink them, okay? There's borrowing that you could do. Don't make yourself all cluttered because you homeschool. It really isn't necessary. But for this year, this semester, or this, whatever you're working on this year, you have a basket for each kid. And then when they know, when you're getting work done, then, that's where it is. If you're somebody that maybe does some spiritual work in the morning, like maybe you pray and you journal, keep those all together in one place and always be right there. The amount of time that we waste searching for things and getting things, we think that we're saving time by not making these things happen, but we're not. We waste days and days and days, sometimes entire weekends that we would have loved to just enjoy the day. But instead, we're either finding things or cleaning up what we really could have done because we have this warped perception of time and think that everything takes too long. So the perfect time is now, right? This is the perfect time right now, and we're going to get the house ready. Now, I have a course that I call Tidy Tutor University. If you want to improve your life, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, I always make sure that when I do a webinar, I provide complete value, that you can leave this webinar and be able to do exactly what it is that I said. Sometimes I'll go on a webinar, I'm so disappointed because I will, be there and be listening, and then I'm like, well, gee, thanks. Where's the answer? answers, and the answers is in what they're selling. I think that's unfair. I gave you all of the answers that you need to get things started, to get your clothes revamped, and to really make a big change. But there's so much more to it. And if you're really seriously interested in changing your life, then I recommend going and taking my class. If you're not sure about it, go to my testimonials, go to thetidytutor.com, go on testimonials, and I'm telling you, I have hundreds more. I can't keep up with putting them all up. Look at them, see what people are saying. It really is a lifesaver. And, you know, I really should put all of the money people have saved. People have paid for this course 10 times over with either finding things that they didn't have to buy again, having sales, having a garage sale for stuff and making it all over, putting things on eBay. There's tons of ways that people have remade the money that they have paid on my course. There is nothing more important than you and your home. And there is nothing more important to spend your money on or to invest in than you. So I hope that you do this, all right? All you have to do is go to ttinsiders.com/TTU. If you go to my website and you scroll down and you click on Begin Today right here, right? It'll come up. Then you have 3 ways that you can pay. You can have it $25 a month, and you get 10 months into my Insiders Club, okay? $197 pays for it all at one time, and you get 12 months of my Insiders. And then I have also a special where I'm there for you. I only allow 6 people in the group, and we have sessions where I work with you personally. That's for somebody that likes the DIY but really wants more help, that wants somebody to walk them through it. And so that's what that's about. So you have session 1, 2, 3, and 4. You take them once a week. And when you click on them, there's different parts. And we talk about dejunking. We talk about our attitudes. We talk about how important you are and how important your job is. It's really pretty amazing, and you cannot fail. I'm telling you, if you do this, you can't fail. I recommend that you do this now, all right? Don't wait. You know that you're procrastinators by nature. So, you know, another day will go by and it'll be too late. Okay, so that's that. Thanks so much for joining me. I love you all so much. You mean so much to me. I hope you know that. Good night.